Welcome to freefocusdance.com. My name is Chris Reed and I'm showing you different acrobatic movements. Today, we're going over the Kip Up. Now, in order to do a Kip Up, you need at least these three movements. The bridge, the candlestick, and you gotta be able to stand up from a bridge too. What's a candlestick? A candlestick is when I'm laying on my back and I bring my feet all the way up, my hips off the floor, and I balance on my shoulders. This is a candlestick. Now, if you can do this and have your hands in a bridge position, well, you're halfway there to your Kip Up. The other thing that you need to be able to have is a bridge. Bridge position. You need to be able to have this bridge position so you can have the power and the flexibility and the mobility to get up. Can I get up from my bridge? Very important question. Let's find out. Whoop, just like that. That's the end of the Kip Up. What is a Kip Up? Just in case you don't know. 1, 2. That's a Kip Up. Now, once you've established that you have those movements, it's time to play with them so we can put them all together and make the s'more that is known as a Kip Up. From my candlestick, I need to first see if I can do a candlestick or a kip into a bridge. So I need to go 1, 2. Even if it's not a full bridge, that's okay. But that's the first thing that you have to do to see if you have the hip power to get yourself off the floor. Kip to a bridge. Practice this, and that's going to get you on your way. 1, 2. Notice that my hips are going off the floor. Even if you practice that move, that'll be good for you. Here, my chin is always in my chest to make sure I don't hit my head on the floor and I don't accidentally knock the wind out of myself. That's the move we're looking for. My hips are leaving the floor. Now I use it into my power. Kip into a bridge. Once I have a good, solid understanding of that bridge, it's time to do my sit-ups. So I need to start with my legs like this and get all the way up. If you can't get up and touch your toes and completely laying down, you shouldn't try a Kip Up yet, because you need all those muscles working in accordance in order to get it. 1, 2, just like that. So we have kip to a bridge and we have a sit-up. The only other thing that you need to practice is standing up from a bridge. Standing up from a bridge. So I'm in my bridge, I stabilize, lean my hips to the back, and then I stand up. When I say lean my hips to the back, I mean push my hips so that I have this little thing going on here. That means I have a lot of weight in my feet, and I can use those ab muscles, the same ab muscles that I use for my sit-up, in order to stand all the way up. Now we have to put all of that together and make it so that we actually do our Kip Up. Now, if you can do that on a soft surface, not this, to your knees, that means that you are 75 to 85% there. But I'm not doing that on my knees right now, because that's too hard. As far as material, not difficult. So, I have my candlestick, I have my bridge. I can stand up from my bridge. I can do my sit-up. It's time to put all this stuff together. So, I need to roll onto my shoulders, get into my candlestick position. I'm loaded up here. Both of my weight is on my hands. I'm gonna throw my legs forward as if I was doing my Kip Up bridge. But this time, I'm trying to almost land in such a strong bridge position that I don't need my hands. Then I stand up. That's the slow motion version of what happens in the Kip Up. 1, 2, 3, right? I put enough weight in my feet so that I can just get up, kind of like a Frankenstein position. So one more time. I roll into my shoulders. I'm in my Kip Up / candlestick with my hands in bridge position. I'm gonna pump my legs forward, land flat on my feet, and stand up like Frankenstein. Like that. I'm Chris Reed, and that was the Kip Up. Welcome to freefocusdance.com. I'm Chris Reed, and we're doing some basic acrobatic movements today. We're gonna go over the Elk Kick. Now when it comes to the Elk Kick, it's important to have handstand as well as the flexibility to get this leg to this arm. So the first thing that I want you to do is lie down on your side, and depending on what hand you plan to stabilize on. I plan on stabilizing on my left hand, so my left side is on the floor because my right leg is going to kick up. If I'm using my right hand to stabilize, my right side is going to be on the floor, and my left leg is going to kick up. Obviously, if my left leg is kicking up, my left hand is catching. Alternatively, if my right leg is kicking up, my right hand is catching. I need to know that I can hold this position. I need to understand that I have the flexibility to hold this position in order to even attempt this move. Next, the stability aspect. I need to be able to easily place a hand on the floor and hold this position at least, because this is going to be part of the preparation and the execution of the move. My left hand is on the floor, my right leg is straight, and I'm stabilizing. Same thing on the other side. My right hand is on the floor, my left leg is up, that right arm is stabilizing. Look, not my good side as you can see. So when it comes to the Elk Kick, things to keep in mind is that it's a kick. You're kicking. So my hips, I'm pretending that there's two planes of glass right here holding me in the position. I only want to move on this in this lateral space, right? So if I'm stabilizing with my left hand and my two plates of glass are right here, I need to move only like this. I cannot leave that space, otherwise my balance is going to be off and I may very well fall. So I'm going to show you the move. Step, place, kick, and come right back. One more time. Step, place, kick, and then come right back. So when I say step, stabilizing with the left hand, my left leg is going to step behind my right leg so. As I step, my left hand goes onto the floor, and this right leg is going to prepare to kick straight up. Now I'm not just kicking. I need to kick and jump at the same time. I'm jumping onto my arm because my arm is going to be holding up all of my weight. So I'll show you one more time with the left hand stabilizing. Step, place, kick. Just like that. Keeping those imaginary plates of glass right here, all of my motion is taking place here. So what does that mean? Everything else is just stretching or preparing to stabilize. That's why it's important to have a handstand, because you'll understand that tension necessary to hold this move. I'll show you guys that plan to stabilize on your right hand what it looks like. It's the same exact formula, we're just putting it on the other side of our body. I step my right leg behind my left, my right hand is going to touch the floor, my left leg is going to kick. Step, place, kick. Just like that. One more time. Step, place, kick. I'm Chris Reed, and that was the Elk Kick. Hey, welcome to freefocusdance.com. I'm Chris Reed, and we're going over basic acrobatic movement, and now for the Valdez, aka Acro. So, I'm going to start from my low squat here. I'm sitting on my heels. The most important part is that I feel good stability here. Now, a handstand is going to be helpful, but what's even more helpful is the understanding of how to get my hips over my head. I need to get my hips over my head. Arms super straight, but I got to get my hips over my head. So, while I'm sitting on my heels, I pick the hand that I want to stabilize with. I'm going to stabilize with my right hand. I put my right hand in the back. Pretty close to me still. It's not way out here because I don't have very good stability way out here. I want it to be right here. There's maybe even like 6 inches between the ball of my foot and my hand. From here, I'm going to practice going up into a bridge. Like so. Notice how I'm moving my feet forward just a little bit in order to get that full range of motion in my bridge. One more time. My hand is down on the floor. I get ready for my jump. Boom, I'm in my bridge position. You see this hand up in the air? This hand hand is what's going to tell me which direction I need to go. This hand is going to go over my head. When this hand goes over my head, I'm going to follow it with my eyes. So let me show you what Valdez looks like. I put my hand behind me, I get ready, and my hand goes. Boom! And then I land it. When I'm following my hand overhead, my arms are pushing super duper straight, super duper straight. Now, this move requires a lot, so let's regress it so you can get more comfortable until you can work up onto this one. We're gonna go back like we're gonna do a Valdez, but we're gonna end it in a cartwheel. How do we do that? First, you have to have a cartwheel. Second, your hand goes in the back, and instead of this hand going straight back like so, it's just gonna go overhead like a cartwheel. Like that. That way, you can get used to just going from a low position to a high position where you're only being supported by your hands and momentum. Once you start to get used to that, we cut the angle. We have to cut the angle. Instead of my cartwheel going straight over my face like this, I'm cutting the angle a little bit. I know that I want to end up doing my movement like so. But this is scary, and I don't have it used to it yet. So instead, I'm going to go like this. First we were here, now we're going here. It's a little bit better, a little bit closer to a Valdez. After practicing that a bunch, I've worked up the courage. This time I'm actually going to throw my Valdez. I put my hand in the back. I need to get used to jumping here. My arm is going straight back. My arm is going straight back. Practicing that over and over is going to get you used to just throwing that Valdez the way that you want to. But if it's still giving you trouble, I suggest you get a step or something along those lines. Put those feet on top and jump over it just like this. A box or a step, maybe about this high, a foot or so, just to get you used to putting that weight on that back arm and getting the hips over the head. I highly recommend knowing how to do a rollback, and if you don't know how to do a rollback, look forward for my video on how to do a rollback. It'll teach you how to do backwards rotation because this would be the next step in backwards rotation. So one more time, this is the Valdez. I'm in my low squat, my hand is on the floor, my other hand is gonna guide me. It's very, 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 very important that this arm goes straight back over my head like so. Straight back over my head like so. Unless you're practicing and building yourself up to straight back, this is where it needs to be. If you're practicing because you don't quite have straight back yet, you can go at an angle and turn it into a cartwheel. Look at my angle for the cartwheel. Look at the angle for my Valdez. Let's say I'm already in my position. And I'm practicing this because I want my hand to be in a straight line like this, and I want to be able to support myself straight arm like this. The scariest part of this move is going upside down backwards. How do you know that you won't fall? And to be quite honest, you don't. You don't know that you're not going to fall. But the reason why you practice it is that your body gets used to it, and it just becomes just another thing that you do. To get more comfortable with going upside down backwards is really believing in your arms. So straight arms are everything. Those straight arms are everything. That's why it's not necessary to have a super good handstand in order to do Valdez, but it does help a lot. The most important thing to focus on is alignment. If I'm contracted with straight arms like this, I have this arm here. As I go up into the sky, my hips are pushing and staying in that locked out position. I promise you, you will at least get to here. You'll at least get to here. Once you get to there, you just put your feet on the floor. If you bend your elbows, you're gonna fall. If you bend your elbows, you're gonna fall. If you don't concentrate on staying in that locked out position, you're gonna fall. If you don't take your hips with you when you do macaco, you're not gonna have enough contraction to bring your hips with you in order to complete the movement. The only thing, unfortunately, the only thing that you need to complete this movement is to just do it and not second guess it. You might fall, and that's okay, but you have to just keep doing reps and reps and reps of the movement until you understand my hips go here, this hand goes here, I kick through this way, my arms stay super straight the whole time. You're gonna wanna bail, you're gonna wanna do this. It's not gonna work. Hips gotta stay locked out. Hips gotta push. Hips gotta go toward the ceiling. Arms gotta be super straight, both of them. This arm is super straight as I'm going backwards. As I tilt and this arm goes, everything is super straight. Once I have my stability on this arm, and those feet jump, they need to jump hard. The same way you kick to go to a wall handstand, you need to jump and kick those legs over your head in order to get that Valdez. So it's a perfect formula of jumping, kicking, pushing, and belief, self-belief. So if I'm doing macaco, if I'm doing a Valdez, I'm looking at who I need to keep my eyes on the whole time. But you can also look straight. The easiest way to do Valdez is to place this hand here and watch that hand the whole time it goes until you get into handstand position. 1, 2. If you're strong enough, you can even hold a handstand and you don't even realize it. Why? Because you're not thinking about it. You get there, realize what's going on, and then lock out and stabilize. Next thing you know, you're in a handstand. But if I'm doing it where, maybe I'm in a battle, maybe I'm playing Capoeira or whatever the case may be, or it's a performance and I want to look at the audience for a moment, I'm maintaining eye contact here. Because I can do whatever afterwards. You see what I'm saying? It's all about where your hips are facing. So there's other ways that you can do it, but first and foremost, you want those 2 planes of glass right here so that you stay focused on that backwards rotation, that backwards rotation, that backwards rotation, because that's what's going to train your body for backwards rotation. You can do harder moves. After Valdez is back handspring. After back handspring is back tuck, stuff like that. You see what I'm saying? I'm Chris Reed, and that was Valdez.